Hey guys, happy Sunday. I am back. Just stuff going on. I was in LA last week, and then the week prior I wanted to spend some time with my husband. The recipes are up in the description for those of you who want the full recipe. Feel free to check those out. And if you want to see the finished product, obviously I do all of my recipes live. So if you want to see the finished pictures, head over to my Instagram or Snapchat after the live video to see the full picture. Okay, so we're just going to jump in here. I'm actually going to do the marinade for the pork first. And just a little background, I actually already have my pork marinade. We will kind of get started. So I need a little bowl because for both recipes, I need garlic. Because if you guys, you know me, garlic is like a food group. Garlic, bacon, coffee, all food groups in my life. By the way, I have my phone off to the left here, so if you want to ask questions, feel free. I will try to get to them. So I'm going to start. I'm just going to mince up 2 cloves of garlic. So give that a good whack and make sure we have this all peeled. I'm actually going to do 4 total because I need 2 for the pork and then 2 for the asparagus. So I'm doing 4 total. And just make sure, obviously, that when you're like whacking your asparagus, you don't put your hands up because everybody knows we like to have all of our fingers in my kitchen. It's a good way to take out a little bit of stress, right? Just like give it a good whack. Yeah. I love garlic. I'm obsessed with it. I could eat it. I pretty much put it in every recipe. It's one of those things that's like such low-cal and it has such good flavor. Like, why would you not, you know? I learned that from Rachel Ray. If you guys ever watch Rachel Ray, she literally puts garlic in everything. Let me pull up this live feed on my phone here so I can answer questions. 2 seconds. Get rid of these peels while I do that. Okay. Hey guys. Okay. All right, here we go. So I'm going to get these all minced up. And if you don't like to do this, you can actually just use a grater. So like I have a thin microplane. You can totally just grate your garlic into things too if you're not like big into knife work. You know, so if you're like, oh my gosh, Lauren, I don't want to spend all that time chopping and like, you know, with my knife skills and I don't want garlic all over my hands. Well, I mean, I guess you'd get it on your hands if you grated it anyway, but it's definitely a lot faster. I'm just doing this because this is pretty much, other than cutting the asparagus, it's pretty much the only knife work that I have in this recipe. So I gotta get some knife work in, right? I haven't actually been able to cook very much because I've been gone and I've been eating out and like, so I'm excited to be back in the kitchen today, getting some cooking done, getting some food prep going. All right, one more pass. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna reserve half of this, okay? So half of this is going into this little dish off to the left here, and then the other half is gonna go into my marinade bowl, which we're gonna put right here. Okay, so 2 cloves of garlic going into the marinade bowl. All right. Get all the garlic off your hands because it's gross if you don't. Ooh, yeah, don't want that. All right, let me rinse my hands off. This garlic is sticky. Okay, a couple things that we're using for this marinade. Balsamic. Come on, you guys know me. Balsamic, olive oil, honey, soy sauce, and we're going a little Asian inspired. We're going to do some ginger, some red pepper flakes, some spicy mustard, stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot in here. So just bear with me while we get through it, okay? So we're going to need, I love my garlic mincer. Hi from Australia. Hi. Hey from Florida. I'm Italian, love garlic. Yeah, it's so awesome. I use it for literally everything. Okay, let me figure out exactly my measurements. I want to make sure I get these right because I found out that I'm giving you guys wrong measurements sometimes because I honestly am not a big measurer, just saying. Okay, here we go. I believe it's a 4th cup for each, but let me just double check. Yeah, okay. So 4th cup of olive oil. And what I do is I just have a big measuring cup and it's got measurements all up the back so I can put everything all in one, right? I don't have to dump everything out. Like I just do a 4th and then if I need another 4th, obviously I'm adding. We're doing fractions now. So I'm going to add a 4th cup of olive oil. It's going to be a 4th cup of soy sauce. So we'll do that next. If you are doing paleo or don't eat soy. You can do coconut aminos for this as well. So I'm gonna just bring that up to the 1/2 cup mark, okay? Because we're doing a 1/4 cup of each. Now I'm turning into a math teacher, guys. Balsamic, 1/4 a cup. This is 1/4, a 1/4, a 1/4. So I'm actually gonna do part of this regular balsamic, and then I have this cinnamon pear that I want to use up. So I'm going to do about 1/8 of a cup of that. I'm getting low on that. I need to go balsamic shopping. Ooh, 1/8 of a cup of this. So then in total I have about 3/4 cup of liquid, okay? Okay. Get my soy sauce out of here. All right. So let's get that dumped in here. And it is going to separate because I have literally vinegar and oil, right? You know how they say that? Vinegar and oil, they obviously don't mix. So you have to mix them up. So that's going to be separated a little bit. Hold on, my thing is giving me notifications. Okay. Honey. Spicy mustard, okay? We're going to do a tablespoon of honey and tablespoon of mustard, teaspoon of honey. We don't need a ton of sweetener in here, honestly. We're going to put some red pepper flakes, so I really am just trying to balance that out a little bit. So, teaspoon, okay? Honey, make sure that you have good quality honey. I know that everybody is like, I use this stuff in the bear, but try to get good quality honey. Trust me, it tastes like 100 times better. I am like losing my mind right now. Okay, 1 tablespoon of spicy brown mustard. Yes, it's necessary. Use it. It's got good flavor. And then we are going to, I'm going to mix this up a little bit, and then we're going to add our spices. Now, we do not need salt in here. Why? Because soy sauce is like super uber salty. No salt needed, okay? But we are going to add red pepper flakes. So I'm going to do about a full teaspoon of red pepper flakes in here. These are really good for flavor. I've been using these a lot more, and I used to be totally anti-red pepper flakes. My husband really loves them, and I was like, I don't want that. I'm not eating that. Don't give that to me. You know, he literally puts it on everything. I do not. So use your judgment. And then ginger. We're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, okay? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, so that's all mixed up. Now, what I've done is this is my marinade for, I'm going to use this on my ribeye, but I already did my pork earlier. So what you're going to want to do is I just combine mine in a bag, and I stick it in a bag in the fridge, mix it all together, you know, mush it around with your hands, get in there. And then what I do is I let it sit for a minimum of 4 hours. So obviously, ideally, it's overnight. You want to really let the flavors kind of meld together, right? You want to get it in the pork because when you bake it, which is what we're going to do with this, I really want the marinade to come through. So overnight is preferable, but if you're in a crunch, you can do this at least minimum 4 hours, okay? So I'm going to actually stick this off to the side when we marinate that ribeye later when I get off of here, okay? So with the pork, now here's a question that I already got when I told somebody I was doing this. I'm not searing this. And here's the reason why. I struggled with pork for a very long time. I had a really hard time figuring out how to cook it properly. It is so easy to overcook pork. Okay, it's really easy to do. So I was having trouble figuring out a way to cook it where I wasn't overcooking it. And the problem that I was having is I was always searing it and then baking it in the oven. And I think with the double process is where I was really losing it. So I just started baking it in the oven. I always do bone in because it definitely holds its juice better. But I was struggling with it. So now I'm just baking it. So I take it out of the marinade. Obviously this has been sitting. I did this morning. Take it out of the marinade, just stick it right into a Pyrex dish. Okay. And then I have these in a 400-degree oven, and we're going to do these for like 25 minutes about. Okay? And you can just dump the rest of the marinade. All right. So I'm going to set this back here for a second until I'm ready to throw it in with my asparagus too, because they take about the same time to cook. So, asparagus. Oh, let me check questions because I see this. What cut of pork? They are bone-in pork chops. Sorry about that. When do we get to see the video we did with Lauren? So we didn't actually record a video today. We're going to do that in the next week, and then hopefully it'll be up before the end of the month, I would hope. Okay, so we're gonna do these Parmesan Crusted Asparagus, which, oh my gosh, so good. So how many of you guys know how to figure out where to cut your asparagus? I think a lot of people, they just take the rubber band off and they just kind of go, like if they try to cut somewhere. But you can do what's called the split test. So you take it and you just take it on both ends, and wherever it breaks, that's where you want to cut it, okay? So just like, I didn't use a lot of force, all right? And then I just line it up with the rest of them, and that's where we cut them off. Boom, easy, easy. Get rid of the bottom of the stalks. And you do need to cut off the bottom of the stalk because it is woody, okay? Get rid of those. Okay. We're gonna start by putting these just in a bag, okay? I'm just gonna stick them in a bag. This is gonna be a shake and bake recipe. How many of you guys did shake and bake when you were younger? Remember your mom doing that? I do. Did not like the shake and bake recipes ever. Okay. I'm gonna do 2. Why? You guys know, meal prep, hello. So I'm gonna show you this trick one more time, okay? Ready? Take one out, hold it at both ends, and you snap it. And wherever it snaps, that's where you need to cut, okay? So you just line it up with everything. Boom. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Okay. Excuse me while I just drop everything. I tell you guys this all the time. My husband came in here and cleaned the kitchen right before I came in here, and I'm like, I don't know why you didn't wait until after, because I'm just like a messy cook. Okay. Here's our asparagus in a bag. We are going to do 2 things. Bear with me. We're going to do olive oil, okay? And then we're going to do a little bit of honey. And I think, honestly, the reason I added the honey to this was just the coating, and I like the little bit of sweetness because we're going to be doing breadcrumbs and cheese on it. Yes, I'm eating breadcrumbs and cheese. So just bear with me. Again, we're going to do about, I would say, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, okay? Not a ton. We don't want it swimming because we are going to literally do this like a shake and bake recipe where we just pour the breadcrumbs and cheese in the bag. So I don't want to have it swimming in olive oil, or what's going to happen is the breadcrumbs and the cheese are just going to kind of like clump at the bottom. We don't want that. A little bit of honey. I'm talking like a teaspoon, like not very much, okay? Teaspoon. It's really just to give it like a hint of sweetness, and that's it, and help everything stick together. So I usually just do like one big line across it, okay? Now at this point, we're gonna add the salt and pepper, okay? So we're gonna season the asparagus now, and then we'll add the, we're gonna add the breadcrumbs and the cheese in a minute. Okay, so I would say it's about a full teaspoon of salt, maybe a teaspoon and a half, use your judgment, and then same amount of black pepper. You guys know I like to season food because it makes it taste good. All right, I'm gonna close the bag. Okay, just a funny story. There was this one time I was opening a marinade bottle. My brother and my husband were both here, and I was trying to open a marinade bottle to marinate steaks, and I forgot that I had like unscrewed the cap and not screwed it on all the way, and I was gonna shake it, and I left the cap open. It blew up, and this is like a spicy marinade. If you guys have ever used Stubbs, he used it, like in the Stubbs marinade, there's a lot of red pepper flakes, and it went everywhere, and one of those places was in my eye. So I was literally shook this bottle, it like sprayed everywhere, hit me in the face, and I'm just screaming. I'm like, oh my gosh, like losing my shit. And my husband and my brother are just standing in the corner, like laughing their asses off at me, like thought it was so funny, and I'm like dying, going blind over here, you know? It's not funny. So my point is, make sure your stuff's closed, okay? So, okay, that's pretty well coated. Okay, let's see. That break snap thing was amazing. You said you love watching Rachel Ray, but you don't use the colored garbage bowl that she does. Tell Mr. Fitlaw to get you that for Mother's Day. I don't, but I do love that bowl. I usually do have a trash bowl. I just didn't have enough stuff to like throw away because I wasn't doing a whole lot of prep with this recipe. But I love her like little speckled bowl. It's so cute. And I'm always like, God, I need to get one of those. I didn't realize that it was like a brand name thing, though. I thought that was just like a bowl that she had, you know? Okay, so I'm going to put these off to the side. I'm actually going to get rid of my cutting board because we don't need it. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is start kind of combining these. So I need a third cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay, guys, again, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Grate your own cheese. It's worth the time. It's worth the effort, okay? This is a microplane. I got this from Pampered Chef, and it's awesome. I can stand it upright like this, or I can lay it flat over the bowl. So what I do is I just put it like kind of at an angle in the bowl, and I just grate my cheese right in here. So I need about a third of a cup of this. And I did a little bit earlier, but I'm going to do a little bit more. It is funny. It is funny that I was almost blinded. Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate your sympathy, girl. Just kidding. No, seriously, it was really funny. And now every time I get a bottle of Stubbs marinade, I like laugh a little bit because, you know, it almost blinded me once. But it is the best. It is the best marinade. If you don't make your own and you need one in a pinch, Stubbs for beef is, oh my gosh, it's so good. We literally use it on steak all the time. Okay. We have about a third cup there. Get rid of this. Put my cheese back in the cheese bag. Okay. And then when you grate your own cheese, there's no preservatives in it, right? You don't have any of like preservatives or anything like that in there, and it's kind of nice. Okay, so we are going to do a little bit of garlic, all right? Like those 2 cloves that we chopped up earlier and then we reserved. So I'm going to do those now. So I'm going to add those in with the cheese. Okay, get those in here. Boom. Okay, and then for breadcrumbs, we have a third cup of this, and we have a third cup of breadcrumbs. Actually, we're doing a half cup. Actually, I lied. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so bad at measurements. This is why I write the recipes ahead of time, because I usually just eyeball. I'm going to do 3/4 of a cup. That's what we're doing. 3/4. That's, I swear. I'm sticking to that. Okay, so I'm going to stick these in the bowl. All right, and I have 2 pounds of asparagus. So the recipe that I use calls for just 1, but I did 2 because I want extra. Because I have a hungry husband who eats a lot. We're just going to mix this up. You really do want to mix this up, even though we're going to throw it in the bag, just because I want to get the garlic evenly distributed, because it's going to stick. And so if I get like a clump of garlic, it's not going to move around in here enough. So I made these breadcrumbs myself. So if you guys have ever made breadcrumbs, they're super, super easy. Oven at 400, literally take some bread, slice it up into croutons, do some olive oil, salt and pepper, bake it. And then I just ground it up. I just did that before I started going live. They're super easy. And for those of you doing 21-day fix, I used to have a hard time with salad because I couldn't eat croutons. So what I did is I started using the whole wheat bread to make my own. And I would use homemade croutons as my yellow container and put them on salad. So it was really a good way for me to get croutons, because that's the one thing when you start eating healthy that goes, right? You go to a restaurant and they're like, no more ranch dressing for me, no more croutons for me. And I couldn't deal with that because I love croutons and ranch dressing. So I started making approved versions of like things that I liked. So, okay, we're all mixed and ready to go. The Kikkoman teriyaki marinade is also amazing. What's a low carb option for breadcrumbs? So instead of breadcrumbs, if you didn't want to do breadcrumbs, you could totally do like almond flour. That would be or almond meal. That would be a really good replacement for this. Obviously they're going to have a different texture. But that's a good option. It's definitely low carb. It's probably higher in protein a little bit. Almonds, not so much. Maybe cashews. I don't know. I would do almond flour or coconut flour would be good. But if you're going to do that, I would definitely do I do like a fourth of the amount of coconut flour and add to it the almond flour, because the coconut flour is going to give it a little bit of sweetness. So you definitely could do that. Have you ever tried this recipe with gluten-free breadcrumbs? I have not, but you totally could. Absolutely. Same thing. Make your own croutons. Take the gluten-free bread, cut it up, roast it, bake it in the oven, ground it up, right? Okay. Are you guys ready for this? We're going to shake and bake. This is a good way to get your kids involved too. Let them do this. They love doing it. So I'm going to do about half of this, and then we'll see where we're at, and then we'll do the other half. Make sure it's sealed, people. Yeah, see, that's not even nearly enough. I didn't use it. I wanted to figure out if it was enough. It's not. Use it all. Get it all in there. Okay. I'm so excited for this. If you've watched my other live feed where I made that garlic aioli, oh my gosh, you put that garlic aioli on this and it's like, oh my, you will impress all of the people. Ready? I'm just about to finish up, guys, so if you have questions, feel free to ask them now, so we can, because I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. And make sure you turn it over because they like to get on the bottom. Boom. Oh, you know what? I do have another good option. So my dad, when he used to make fried chicken when I was little, he used to use Rice Krispie treats or the Rice Krispie cereal. So you could absolutely use those instead. They're probably not necessarily low carb, but they're definitely gluten free. Or Cheerios. Cereal is great for breading. So if you grind up like Cheerios or Rice Krispie treats or the Rice Krispie cereal, that's an amazing breadcrumb and those are gluten free. So that's a really good option that I would highly recommend. Okay, you all know what time it is. It's stone time. We're going on the stone. Yum, can't wait to try this. What cut of pork did I use? I used bone-in pork chops. Okay, I'm gonna get my other little spatula, or tongs. What? So there's not a ton of breading on these guys. They're actually kind of lightly breaded, and that's why I shake them like this, is because it doesn't need a ton because they crisp up like super, super nicely, okay? Lay them all out on here. And what's great about the pork and asparagus is they take pretty much the same amount of time and they're in the same degree, like they're both in a 400-degree oven, so you can do them at the same time. Is this a 21-day fix approved recipe? It is not. You could probably make it 21-day fix approved if you want. Use your blue container as your cheese. You know, just measure everything out accordingly. But it is not technically 21-day fix approved. I would say that the breadcrumbs would be the hard piece, but you could totally do this. Just, you know, figure out how many servings you're making with the asparagus, and then just use a yellow container full of breadcrumbs, right? And just measure it out. So like for this, because the breadcrumbs don't stick, I would maybe count this as one yellow for the entire thing. So even though there was more breadcrumbs than that, there's a lot of them left over. Okay. I'm getting all of these boys out of here. There's some hiding in the bottom. This smells like so good. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to reserve this like breadcrumbing stuff, and I'm going to wait and see how these fry up, and if I want, I can sprinkle it over the top. Okay. Try crispy onions for less carbs. That's a really good idea. What meal night was the garlic aioli on? I don't remember. I honestly don't. I know I wrote a recipe for it though. Oh crap, I'm gonna have to look it up. All right, so stick these in the oven. Pork goes in too. And then I actually made some sweet potatoes earlier. So I'm going to take those out because those are done. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to let those bake. The pork chops are going to take anywhere between 25 to 35 minutes. Same thing with the asparagus. So they take about the same time. So that's why I did them together. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I want to try this. That was a pretty funny story. Thank you for sharing. You're very welcome. I'm glad my pain gave you some humor. And then it was, oh yes, it was on the rack of lamb. You're right. Okay, so if you want the garlic aioli recipe, I will also make sure to do a blog post specifically for the garlic aioli so that you guys can get that. But that is pretty much what I have for you tonight. So those are going to bake in the oven for 25 to 35 minutes. If you want to see the full picture, please head over to my Snapchat or my Instagram. Those are both The Fit Law, all one word. And then you can also hit my recipes up on Pinterest. I have just started a Pinterest board, so it has all my recipes in one place. But if you also want to check them out on my website, guys, I'm just sending you all over social media to find my amazing face. You can also go to my website, www.thefitlaw.com/blog, and all of my recipes are there. The pictures are updated after my live videos are done because I do these all, you know, real time for you. So I don't have pictures until we're done cooking together. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my next recipe. If you have requests or recipes that you want to see, please comment them below so that I can add those to my list. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.